Welcome in, everybody, to episode 5 of our Farewell City. It's wonderful to have you here, and I want to thank you for joining me. On today's episode, we're going to be making sure that the people of Farewell are taken care of by making sure they have all the services a community like this would expect, and making sure that those services are well maintained. In addition, we're going to create a beautiful waterfront pedestrian area that will be the talk of the town. Finally, at the end of the episode, we're going to look at some viewer comments and use some suggestions that were made to name the parks that we built in last episode, so be sure to stay tuned for that. One other note before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing 3 giveaways of Cities Skylines 2 Ultimate Edition in the coming weeks and months leading up to the release on October 24th. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and tune in to future videos so you can become eligible to win a copy. For now, you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alrighty folks, here we are high above the town of Farewell, which I have to say is really starting to look good now that we've filled in a lot of these empty spaces and the community is starting to feel a lot more complete. And that brings us to the work that we have to do today, which I'm really excited to dive into, because today, of course, we are going to get focused on city services, and we're going to make sure that this town has everything it needs to be a truly functional community. So let's not waste any more time. Let us get right down to business. And we're going to start today with healthcare, and specifically specialized healthcare for the children and the seniors. And we're going to start with the seniors by coming over here and nestling up next to this river, across the road from this beautiful park that we built in the last episode. And we're going to place the elder care facility. So let's do so. That's step number 1. Elder care facility. Here it is right here. And boom, we're done. Now that we've placed that, we need to talk a little bit about our plans for the rest of this waterfront. And I think that the people of Farewell are going to have gotten together at a town meeting and decided that this waterfront, this beautiful waterfront, it belongs, well, we'll deal with that someday. This waterfront here belongs to the people of Farewell and not to the wealthiest amongst them who might come in and try to take these homes and this space and make it their own. So I think the vote came through almost unanimously that this area here would become a pedestrian area for everyone to come enjoy as they please anytime they want. Now, I'm not 100% sure how far we'll take this. I think we're definitely not going to take it down here. I have an idea for something I want to do down here, so we'll leave this for another episode, but I want this pedestrian area to kind of head down this way. You know, I've actually drawn it in an idea, so maybe at least down to here. Maybe we'll take it to the end. Maybe you guys let me know in the comments. Do you think we should take it all the way in? Or maybe we start putting a few homes in here. Maybe the richest amongst the folks of Farewell went out and decided to build a few homes down in here. I don't know. You guys let me know. But for now, what is currently known as Robin Center, our first pedestrian area, needs some work. And what I want to do is I want to build a quay along here because I want it to kind of feel polished, because we need to build a pathway as well, and we need the pathway to run along the water's edge so that there's room between the road and the path for some of the features of the park. So let's do the things, and we're going to jump in here. We want to make sure we select the key that we want, and the key that I want is this guy here. I think it's Revival Stone. It's got a really nice look to it. It's pretty simple, but it looks like something. It would be expensive, you know. It'd be a feature that would not be super cheap to have installed, but this is a big investment that they're making. It's kind of backwards at the moment, but it'll get better. It's a big investment, but it's a feature to the city that's going to really kind of bring it together and give the future generations a really nice place to spend time and be with their family and their communities. So let's do this. We're going to use the the parallel mode from the network multi-tool. And what we're going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go, I'm going to say we'll start here. We're going to start here. And we're going to go ahead and select all of these locations all along this waterfront, all the way down to, I'm going to say, yeah, to here is fine, I think. To here is fine. And then we're going to go ahead and hold down the shift button and the plus button, and we're going to move this thing out maybe a little bit more than this. I want it because it's gonna flip on it when we hit enter. It's gonna flip for us, but we want it to basically come kind of to the edge of this. I think maybe a little bit further out. How's that doing for the water? So it's basically the water's edge, I'd say. It looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit enter. And as we come in here, you're gonna see there it is. And it's looking pretty good. I think we did it, folks. I'd say it's not bad at all. And this is going to give us the opportunity to... Now, this part down here, I think we might have to get a little bit creative with. But for now, let's not worry about that specifically. Let's jump in and make the next thing that we do. Let's use the same tool, but we're going to want to go in and... we want to select the piece of the puzzle that we want. We want this guy right here, I think. This is the one we took a look at, or I took a look at before, just to see if it's exactly what I want. And I'm going to say it is. It's better than the other ones. It's simple, straightforward. We're going to be able to bob it and get rid of some of these trees in the middle and make a different choice. But for now, I think that's the one we want. So we've got it selected. Confirm, selected, yes, it's the thing we selected. And then we're going to come in here to our parallel thing again, and we're going to use the same nodes. We're going to come off of the same place. I could come off of that, I think, but yeah, we're just going to use this road, and there you go. So that's selected, and we can now. I was about to hit enter. That would have been a disaster. Now I hit the screenshot. I don't need to hit function. I just need to do this. Sorry. I need to hit shift is what I need to do. I'll be alright. Now we have what I think... I'm going to have to do a little bit of playing around there, but I think we have a pretty good look at this. I think maybe we want to come out right up against it. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit enter and see what happens. We'll go ahead and say that that is done. Now, we will. Just let me check. Yes, we could say it's done, basically, because we have room. As long as we're 4 deep, we have room for a couple of the things that we want to put on here to make this a bit of a pedestrian area, at least. We will have to adjust the zoning on this corner here a little bit. But for now, let's call that done. We just need to come in here and polish off the edge a little bit. We'll come in here and pick a height, and we'll just pull it back so that the ground is not visible. I think that does. No, it's not doing the trick. Not even coming close. Let's pick a deeper height. Maybe a little bit more power. It might be because of how close we have the road. It's possible that the road is the reason. And okay, let me see if we can fix this up. Alrighty, so we figured it out. Didn't take long. I was pretty sure it was the road, and it was in fact the road that was making the land or the earth underneath kind of get pushed out too high. So we backed the road off. I think we got a good distance there now. It looks good. Still a little bit of room, just enough room for these plazas in here. We'll just keep those plazas in there for now where they are. We'll come back a little later and make this place look exactly the way we want it. As you know, we will. I also managed to get the roads just kind of turned and connected in here. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to connect it to this intersection here and have it actually not screw the intersection up. but it turned out okay, and I actually like the way it looks with these bollards kind of set up here. It's a really nice touch. It's a really well done feature of the game. You can see we've done the same thing down here. What I really want to do is I actually want to add a couple more, maybe 3 more of those locations for the roads. So let me go ahead and find this guy again. And I want to go, I think, here, which means we'll have to move this guy down, I suppose. Go like that. Let's move him down there for now. And got a little crime in there. Some of these ice cream shops getting robbed. We'll throw one in there. And I think we'll throw one in here. So each end of the park, in particular, is really nice. Like that. So that people, can transition from this park into here. We'll put crosswalks and stuff in a little later. But yeah, I think that looks really nice. And I also like that it transitions. You can see here the bollards are down sometimes too. I saw that earlier. I wasn't sure what was going on with that, but that's kind of cool that the bollards will go down. Emergency vehicles need in, something like that. Maybe it's just a variation of the asset, the way it works. But anyway, yeah, I like that it doesn't create a big node coming in here. Like the sidewalk continues, and it feels natural. Like it's really well done. I enjoy what I'm seeing here quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop down now the building that goes with this. We need the, where is it? It's in here, I think. Yeah, it's the small pedestrian area service point, and there's a bunch of that you can unlock as time goes on here. This is gonna be a learning experience for both of us, because, for all of us, for both me and you, because I don't know exactly how this pedestrian area works. I don't know how it works. So this is the building. This is kind of cool too. I kind of like that. We'll get this thing sorted out here eventually, the way that this runs along here, but I think this fits in nicely. I was experimenting. It has to be inside the actual park area that you've built. I tried putting it over here by this park service building, and it didn't like it. It didn't like it at all. So it had to be over here, and it's fine. It fits in nicely in this spot. It works perfectly fine. And then yeah, we'll have this pedestrian area come down along here, and let's unpause it and see what happens. I'm pretty sure this should fix our problems here. Hopefully it means the cops can get in as well and solve some issues. There you go. That's getting solved there. Hopefully the coppers can come now. Are the police coming? Hello? No sirens. He's sneaking up on him. Anyway, let's ignore that because we got things to do. We have to get some childcare in here now. So let's go ahead and click on this. And right here we have our Child Health Center. And I wanted to use this space right in here. I like that it's kind of across from the park. It's, obviously if it was centered, because of the radius you can see here, it would be better if I put it somewhere central. And maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I should do it somewhere central. I kind of just I just had this weird area, and I needed to, put some parking in here, and it kind of made sense. But now I'm kind of ad-libbing, and I'm thinking, maybe... Does this fit in nicely here? Well, if there was zoning, it would. I think we can make this fit here, because it's 6 wide. It's much more central. It's gonna help. I'm gonna put it here. The zoning needs to get fixed. I'm just gonna place it down, and then I'm just gonna move it into place for now. It's fine. It gets the job done. Now what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to add some parking. It's gonna need some parking, and it's gonna have to be in the back now, which is a bit of a change of direction. We got the pathway here. I think I'd actually maybe this actually gets put on its side, I think. And then we put the parking down here. I think this is actually... I'm actually going to do this, and I'm just going to actually place it as it belongs, just like that. That way it's not right on the corner as well. Maybe we could just do a little bit of detailing out here as well. And then the parking down here. So let's go and find our parking that we like. Okay, there it is right there. It's going to go bango, bango. Does it need 2? Maybe. Maybe it needs 2. I think 2 is fine. I also was thinking here, I'm going to adjust this. I have the 4x4s working its way back here off this, and we're going to have the kind of the land backing up on the orchard like we talked about. But I think I'm going to make these 3 deeps, and we're going to have it on both sides. I think this is a lot of wasted space here, and I think you'd want to have as many people with spaces to live, to build homes in this area, with a beautiful park in here, and the high school, and the community. This is the prime real estate, and having this empty space here when we've got tons of empty space and parking and in parks and stuff like that. So this here is going to be how we do this. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a little bit of fence, just nice and simple. There's probably our park fence here, and let me turn off the snapping, and I'm just going to throw a fence in. I'm just going to put like this, like that, and I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to put one back here because there's a fence around the building anyway. And we'll probably just put some trees and stuff back here, polish this off. A little bit of detailing here. You know what? Let me do it right now. Let me jump in here and do the detailing that you know you want to see. And we'll be right back. Alrighty, well, I think we're going to call that the childcare facility complete. I told myself I'd keep it simple. I told myself I would. And, you know, I didn't. Not too many details, I suppose, but some bumpers. I really like the decals I found for this front area. I think this looks really nice. This looks exactly how I wanted it to end up in my heart of hearts. And here we are. The childcare facility's done. I really like this added space back here. Couldn't find a way to get rid of these pylon cones here. I don't know why they weren't in the bob to get rid of, but just a little place where, you know, maybe, you know, kids are trying to obviously heal up, but get some fresh air and maybe have some food, but also with the high shrubbery, a little bit of privacy as well and some shade. Thought that was a nice little added bonus to use. This, you know, these look like sliding door kind of areas, so you could easily just come out there and have a bite to eat and get some fresh air when you're feeling up to it. So there you go, healthcare complete. Alrighty, folks. So I took a bit of a mulligan. So I mentioned earlier when I was doing the childcare facility here that I was going to rethink and redo this section as well, and have the area filled in a little bit more tightly with housing, and we're going to do that. But as you can see, obviously I've moved it down a block, and I like it much more here. It's a little bit closer facility to the high school and elementary school. I feel like it mixes in well with the rest of this services in this whole central area, and just having it more central to the town. You know, this is just still kind of around the edges, and obviously in here it's kind of central to the whole area, so it's going to get a little more better coverage. And I think it's a more sensible place to have been chosen for this facility, so it looks really nice in there. With the beautification of this bad boy in the books, it brings us to other healthcare facilities that need a little bit of loving as well. We have our little clinics. We have one on this little triangle here. We have the one over here by the elementary school. We need to get that tidied up, and then we have the ones across town over here. I've actually got these side by side. We did this for coverage. We're going to put them back on top of one another, but yeah, we're going to figure out a way to get these kind of detailed in here as well. So let's jump in and make the clinics look nice and pretty. Alrighty folks, we're going to call the clinics done. Some simple detailing, parking lot, fences, a little bit of greenery, and 3 clinics have been updated and are ready to go, making this place look a lot more complete. There's one, of course, and we did a bit of a copy pasta over here, very similar, keeping it simple and saving ourselves some work, like that. And of course, the triangle clinic over here, looking really nice. I like the angles and stuff. Really happy with how this triangle one turned out. So there we go, clinics are done. Now we want to move on to some more services, of course, because it's a service episode, and we have a couple of pretty boring looking buildings over here. Well, I mean, the buildings themselves are fantastic. They fit the community so well. Police station, fire station. I really like the way that these look. They just need some tidying up and some features around them to make them look like they're actually part of the community and not just a couple buildings that have been plopped down. So let's dive in and make these look a whole lot better. Alrighty, the fire station and the police station are now officially part of the community. The detailing is complete, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. The police station over here has a couple of parking places. They, of course, have the visitor parking over here, and then they have a restricted access area in the back here, and I even threw in some cop cars back in here in the parking like that. Looks pretty good. Really happy with how this turned out. And then the fire station here, pretty simple and straightforward. We threw in a basketball net for them. Over here, a little recreation, and of course we did a little special area back in here with some, some things that they might need or whatnot. A little shed to store some things in. A little backup power generator type thing they might need to do in an emergency. And then we gave them a little bit of a chill out on a sunny day place to hang out while they're waiting for a call to come in. I don't know, it just kind of struck me. I was like, maybe that'll be kind of fun. We'll give them a place to do a barbecue and hang out with the dog. So there you go. Police and fire done. Now I want to go over here and I want to work in our Main Street area. And we have a couple things to do here. We have the library and we have the post office. Now, originally I had a different library altogether chosen out, and it was going to go somewhere else, and I had a couple plans for it. But then I found on the workshop a library. I'm not sure if actually, wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. That I think could go really, really well in the downtown area. It's just, I mean, honestly, it doesn't even really look much like a library, but because it doesn't even say library on it, but the building absolutely fits the aesthetic of our Main Street here. And I kind of think of this as a kind of an old building that maybe got converted. Like at some point, the community got big enough where they're like, you know, we could really use a library. And then maybe they didn't have the funds to build it. So they were like, okay, let's just convert this old rundown commercial building downtown and we'll throw it in. So I think for now, I'm just going to stick it in, nestle it up next to this guy right here. That's going to be good enough. Now the plan is, at some point in the near future, to kind of finalize the Main Street, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and kind of get every building that we want in the exact right spot the entire way, all the way down this whole thing, and make it look kind of final, historic, you know, a little bit of detailing, and make sure every building we want is in the right spot. We have obviously a lot of repetitiveness happening here. Next, like, I mean, I don't mind a little bit of this, but like here we've got like the same building like 6 times out of 7 in a row. Like, we need to sort through this and figure out what goes where, and like some of these are facing in the wrong direction. So I actually was planning, this is going to get released on Sunday. So on Friday, following the day this is released, I was actually thinking what we might do is do a live stream on YouTube. And part of the agenda for that stream would be to kind of fix up this downtown area and get it looking exactly the way we want to. So for now, this public library is just going to sit here like this and provide the public library things. We can look in here for education, go to public library, and you can see here we've got some capacity now, some people starting to use it, and there you go. Now the other thing I wanted to do down here is I want to bulldoze some stuff. That's what I want to do. There you go. And we're going to get rid of the zoning here, and we're going to put in a post office. We might actually have to get rid of that as well. Now, this is going to be, I mean, it'll maybe need a little bit of detailing down when we go to do the rest of the area, but the post office I want to use is this guy right here. Boom. There we go. I am going to have to get rid of this. Now, does that want to come over more? There. That's probably, no, it probably can come over, but I'm just going to use move it. And, because I want it to be, this area over here is where they do the drop off and pick up. You can already see them getting underway. And I kind of want to leave this area open, and then maybe we can put a fence in here or something like that. I don't know. We can move it closer to the street, I think, just a little bit. Just kind of right up on the sidewalk there. And I want to, there's a side entrance here, and I want to leave space for this to operate as well. Now, when we reorganize this whole thing, we'll figure that out. But I definitely want that to be working as well. So let's see what we can do to kind of polish this thing off. Just slap these down here along the fence, and we'll call the post office complete for now. Now that the library and post office are installed and ready to go, I wanted to return over here to the area around the police station and the fire station and talk a little bit about some things that I saw that were kind of bugging me as I was doing the detailing there. The first thing is just the general traffic going through here is getting a little bit crazy, and I feel like we could maybe deal with that by maybe we'll try sticking in a little bit of a roundabout in here. Because who doesn't love a good roundabout in Cities Skylines? And also, the general amount of traffic that we see running through this area in particular. Of course, we have all the industrial traffic and the garbage services and all that, and they're pretty much always trying to flow through here and out, and it causes a problem, and I noticed this a number of times. You can see here, this fire truck has just been given the green light. He's ready to go out on a call. There's something burning in the city. I don't know where it is. I don't know. Maybe we'll follow him. But what's going to happen... Oh, actually, he's going this way. Oh, I was wrong. I thought he was going to cut off. He actually cut them off. But what happened a couple times is that the traffic was really long here, and the fire truck would literally be sitting here waiting for the traffic to clear this corner and get out before they could get in, and then they would be stuck behind a bunch of traffic trying to get out. So what I want to do is... The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here to Traffic Manager President Edition. And I'm going to restrict the traffic that is allowed on this road. And we're going to make it so that it's only emergency services and, let's say, regular traffic. So no transit will ever be here, no taxis, no cargo, and no garbage. So nothing else can come through here on this street. This is it. And you might be thinking, okay, well, where is it all going to go? And I suppose it can go here, but it's still going to have to go through there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a secondary road access here for the industrial traffic, and I think it's going to help a lot for pulling away the traffic that was coming through here from the industrial space. A lot of the traffic for the industrial space is basically coming in and out of this space on and off the highway. So now they will be able to take this area here, which I'm going to get rid of the traffic lights, turn those off, and I guess we could actually just make it a yield on this space there. Okay, good enough. And then, as we press play, we should see this start to get filled up with traffic a lot more, and the garbage trucks will no longer use this space. The garbage trucks, which are here right now, they can just come down here and come down and get through here. Or they could potentially still use this space as well. But again, pretty busy traffic. And so what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to find the 2-lane. There it is right there. We're going to make a... I'm going to turn off the zoning for when I build this. And we're going to go like this. And we're going to go, and I'm just going to make it I think even just a 2x2? I don't know, but well, maybe 3x3 is okay. Yeah, it looks like 3x3 in space will be fine, which is good because 2x2 is quite small. Can't get a lot done inside of that. And then we'll just delete those internal buildings, and now we have ourselves a simple little roundabout. In farewell, and the people rejoice. They cried for it, and now the roundabout is here, and it's just going to make things a little bit smoother. There won't be any crossing of traffic at this intersection here, obviously, so they'll be able to just slide in and out of the roundabout. And you can see here things will also become, although you do see a fair amount of just regular cars, but you're not going to see industrial traffic here anymore, and you're not going to see the garbage trucks. The garbage trucks are actually choosing this road over here, if anything, or they're choosing this. But you can see this road getting very busy very quickly as it, wow, yeah, very busy very quickly. But it's pulling the traffic away from here, which is the most important thing. So what I'm going to do is, I think I might make this a double left-hand turn. We have a road to actually treat this that will help out. So I think it's in here, and it's this one right here. So we're going to go like this, we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like that. And now we have 2 lanes here. And I'm actually going to make this a double left and a right. So we're going to go back to Traffic Manager President Edition. We're going to line up this. We're going to slide here, and we're going to go like that. So now this lane here can go right or left. Now, you might say that's a little bit annoying to anybody who wants to turn right. Maybe that was an overreaction, but anybody who wants to turn right is going to be stuck behind people wanting to turn left. But the whole point of having this second lane is that, just like that guy did there, both options are open to people wanting to turn left. The amount of traffic that's going to be going this way and turning right is probably going to be fairly limited to the garbage trucks, I would imagine. So maybe this garbage truck's going to show us. Nope, he's going left. Why are the garbage trucks? Oh, they're going. Oh, I know what they're doing. Yeah, they're taking this route. That's also very clever. Okay, even more reason to have the double left-hand turn there. I wasn't even thinking about the fact that they could just take the back door in here to the city and come up this way. I forgot. I wasn't even thinking about what this roundabout does. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. And yeah, I like the way this looks. It's done a lot of help on the traffic. I forgot to check the traffic numbers ahead of time. We're at. Oh, that's noise. I'm like 50% traffic. What? Wrong button. 82. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Our biggest problem is we have this insanity here. And when I say insanity, I do mean absolute insanity. I think there might be a mod that you can use to make the traffic around the farming industry or industry in general be more logical. But I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look into that because it is kind of nuts how many just come in and out of here like absolute crazy. So that's a big part of the traffic issue. And then we have a couple other areas where it's a little bit busy, but overall the traffic is flowing. You don't ever see traffic jams other than what we were seeing in here a little bit, but for the most part this is all moving smoothly and I'm happy about it, so we're not going to complain at all. Now, the final thing that we need to deal with before we put a bow on this episode and wrap things up is the pedestrian area down here by the water. And I really like the way it looks. I think it adds a lot to the city, and it's going to be a great location for the people of Farewell to come and visit. And yeah, we just need to kind of fence it off, maybe add some trees. I want to add a couple shops, I think, along here, but not overdo it. I want it to feel like just an open, peaceful spot where the folks can come and visit and enjoy. The other thing I wanted to point out real quick before I jump into the detailing is I managed to get this lined up with the main street. Before I kind of had it doing a bit of a loop because I was having trouble getting it to connect with this node and make everything look fine, but somehow, some way, I finagled it into looking just good enough. And I like this a lot, actually, that it continues through. It really feels like, you know, you could come down here, especially like on a weekend, and you would, oh my god, I just noticed this camper. First of all, camper parked in the handicap spot, but it's just half of this lane's covered by it. That's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, sorry, distracted. But yeah, I feel like you know, if this is a place to just be hopping on a weekend, where you know you'd be shopping in the well, I'll call it the downtown, but the on Main Street, and then you would just continue on through straight into this pedestrian area and enjoy the waterfront. And I just feel like it'd be amazing as far as the vibes that'd be going on here. So let's do it justice and give these guys a really nice, beautiful spot with some detailing. Alrighty, folks, I think we are going to call that the pedestrian area done. I'm going to apologize right now because I'm not sure how long the montage is going to have been for the detailing of this area, because it got rather frustrating dealing with the... I mean, you can't tell as much in this camera mode, but the clipping on and off of the shoreline made it extremely difficult, and there's a lot of funny terrain things happening around the quay, which generally is the case. And I was getting a lot of... It's just difficult trying to line up buildings and get them level, and getting objects to actually... There's certain areas you can't even put objects. You have to like raise them up, and even then they disappear. But anyway, however long it ended up being, hopefully we got a decent little montage of stuff. But let me give you a quick tour in either case, and I apologize when things are popping up and down like that. I'll do my best. So it ended up being a bit of an ode to my homeland of Canada in this little area, because a lot of little assets that I wanted to put in here happen to be Canadian born, and I like them a lot. They're small, they don't take up a lot of space. We've got this here, it's a Second Cup, Telus, and Pizza building. It's not the super nicest, fanciest building, but I think it fits in really nicely with the little area along here, walking along the path. And then we have here what's called the Pop Shop. These were a thing when I was a kid, and man, this asset fits in perfect. It's small, it's just right. It's just right. And I found this really nice tile. I put this around all of the assets, and then surrounded them with our hedge there. And I like the way this turned out a lot. I ended up going with 2 plazas in here. I was thinking about maybe going in with Bob. I'm probably going to go in with Bob to get rid of some of the trees. Maybe change out the tiles, but I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. That's part of the game. These are the assets that are part of the plazas and promenades kind of thing, and so we'll just let them be the way they are for the most part. Oh, by the way, here's another one. Beaver Tails and Smokes Poutine. Poutinery. Smokes Poutinery. But yes, Poutine and Beaver Tails are as Canadian as it gets. Love this asset, and we fixed it up a little bit with some tables and the tiles, and it looks nice. Really just feel like that fits in really, really well. We've got the parking lot here. I decided to make it a little extra big there with 3 pieces, because I figured not only people coming to park to visit the elder care facility, but also people who might want to come and park to come to the pedestrian area. So I felt like we needed to make sure there's lots of parking available. One more plaza down here. This is the fountain one. This is a pretty nice one down here. And then we have the one that's not Canadian along here. I just don't think it's Canadian. Mancini Pizza and Beer. And put a couple of tables out in front here. But yeah, it's just small, but a nice little asset. And, you know, it would have been a lot of competition to see who could get their commercial buildings set up in this little park pedestrian area. And these guys went out. They had the big bucks, and they bought a little piece of land here beside this plaza, threw their pizzeria up, and it is it's popular. It's popular. Who doesn't love a good pizza? And then, of course, Tim Hortons, the quintessential Canadiana. This asset is a little bit on the old side. It's a little bit bright, but it's Tim Hortons, and I decided I'm going to live with it. I might actually put some tables and stuff out here as well at some point. But I had enough. It's been a long night trying to detail this area and get every time I went to do something, one of the pieces, one of the nodes of the pathway would clip, and I'd have to straighten it out again. Yeah, it got really nuts. So I'm calling it. It took me an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to do this, and that's twice as long as it probably needed to be. But at any rate, here's your stuff. Here's your things. They've been done, and try not to overdo it on the trees. I don't know, they look a little bit spaced. Maybe I should cram more in, or maybe take some out. I don't know. It's been a weird night, like I said. I really like, though, I mean, you guys let me know, because maybe I'm out to lunch. I really like this bush, and going along the fence line, it feels like, you know, especially when you're zoomed out, like it kind of feels like it's bordering it off and creating its own little space. But maybe it's too much. If it's too much, let me know in the comments. Just be like, listen, give me a little intervention, all right? Let me know if it's too much. But we're gonna go with it for now. We're gonna go with it. And there you go. So that's it. We've got the pedestrian area done, and it's surrounded by the elder care facility. I put a few bushes around it. I didn't want to overdo that either. But yeah, I think it looks really nice. Nice little place to take care of the elderly when they need it. And I think it draws this edge of the facility it draws this edge of the town together quite nicely, I think. And it's another piece of the puzzle to the city, or the town, if you will, of Farewell. So there you go. Now all we have left to do is do a little naming of some parks. You guys gave us all kinds of ideas from last episode to name all of these parks around here, and we're going to do that. So let's jump into that. Now, before we get right down to the park naming, I just want to take a moment to thank all the people who are commenting and dropping suggestions for the names of streets and districts and parks, and dropping the likes on the videos and loyally enjoying the series. I do appreciate it so much. It makes an absolutely massive difference to me as I continue this labor of love building this town for you guys. It's going to grow into a nice city over time, and that's because of you guys and your loyal viewership. So thank you. So the first park we're going to name comes from a suggestion from Hogue. And Hogue says Circle Park? Question mark. And I mean, sure, it's on the nose. Some people may say it's too on the nose, but how about this? How about they made the park and forgot to name it? And so then everybody was just like, let's head on over to Circle Park, thinking, hey, there's a big circle in the middle of it. And then it just became Circle Park. It's fine. It's easy. Circle Park. Boom. Done. It is now Circle Park. Now the next one comes from Shep. Now Shep had a big long message because Shep's the GOAT. But Shep says, great looking parks. Thank you, Shep. Almost makes me want to go outside. I hear that. The only park names that popped into my head while watching were Riverview for one, and for the one near the river, obviously, and Roy Gretzky Athletic Park for the baseball soccer field area. So, here's what I've done. Thank you, Shep, for the comments. I do appreciate it. I will absolutely keep up the great work. You're the best. I love you. So, what I did actually, you may have noticed, is this was all one park in the last episode. And I split it into two. Okay, so this all by itself is Circle Park, and then I took everything else and made it into one park, specifically for this message. And I love it. The Rory Gretzky Athletic Park. For those of you who aren't familiar, whenever I'm streaming and playing a game where I need to name a character, I name it Rory Gretzky. Rory after my dog, and Gretzky after Wayne Gretzky, of course, the GOAT. And so simple enough. And I absolutely loved. I mean, it was just a genius name. As soon as I read it, I'm like, oh my god, of course that's what we have to name this thing. The Rory Gretzky Athletic Park, right? Yeah, Athletic Park. Does the trick. Which one was next? It was Kevin Curry with the park name suggestion of Serenity Park, Enchantment Park, and Golden Creek Park. We could potentially use more than just the one of those, but I felt like it was fitting to come down here to this one that's currently named Briar Rose Gardens and go with Serenity Park. For those of you who don't know Kevin is a big Seinfeld fan. We often talk about Seinfeld on the streams, specifically referring to different episodes and memes that came from them. And of course, Serenity Now is one of the big ones. And Serenity Park, I think, is a great idea. We're going to call this Serenity Park. And the reason why I chose this one in particular is it's the only one with a fountain, which I probably could have used more fountains for sure. And I actually mentioned that when I put this fountain in last episode. And partway through the episode, Kevin actually made a comment as he was watching it for the first time. How come no fountains? And I kind of chuckled and said, well, you're going to get one fountain. So Kevin got his fountain, and it's Serenity Park, and it's absolutely beautiful. And finally, the last comment here that we're going to use for naming a park today comes from Uther Pendragon, and we have got a whole bunch of puns. Could be the Pun Dragon. Yeah, and so we wanted to name, of course, this absolutely stellar food truck park down here. Absolutely love this thing. We are going to name this Noah's Park. I wasn't really sure. I loved all of those. Maybe we'll use some more of them in the future. But I kind of felt like Noah's Park was like, it was simple and it got the job done. And it kind of made me think, okay, so, you know, we're eating lots of food here. There's different animals being represented amongst the food groups. And, you know, Noah's Ark, Noah's Park. I thought this made kind of sense. So Noah's Park, just like that. And there we have it. So the parks are named. We have lots of other things to name. There's lots of streets to name still. We've got some more parks that we could get some suggestions for. We do have Hickory Heights as this district, but I'm actually going to split this up a little bit and create probably what we have here into 3 different districts that we'll be able to expand. This one will expand down here. I'm going to create a different separate section for this park, or for this district over here. And then the starting district will remain Hickory Heights. Down in here like this. So we're going to need district name suggestions as well. So be sure to do that. So, and we're going to have an industrial section. We're going to maybe work on that next episode, is the industrial area. So that'll be a district, and it's going to need a name also. So get those comments coming in, and we'll name some stuff up. And as the sun sets on our town of Farewell, we have come to the end of another episode. I want to thank you all for joining me, because there are so many ways to spend your time, and the fact you chose to spend yours watching this video all the way to the end means so much. If you enjoyed this video, it makes so much difference if you take the time to drop a like and comment to help improve the video's engagement levels so more people can find this series and enjoy it as well. One final note, this Friday, August the 4th, I'm going to be doing my first ever live stream on YouTube, where I'll be answering any questions you may have, as well as doing work on some small projects around Farewell. For now, you be sure to take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.